actually, oh yeah, that's
him?
That's one of them. That is, yeah, that's an image from my website. That's not as deep as it got. I don't think that's the worst photo.
The worst one I've ever seen is Kevin Randleman.
They have to stuff it with iodine. Like have you had it before?
No.
They have like these long iodine strips when you get the MRSA, and it's like it's flesh-eating bacteria. Yeah, that's me too. And they stuff. See that hole in the middle?
Yeah.
They stuff like an iodine. It's like a stick in there, like a strip that has. But they literally stuff
it in there,
and you can feel it. You were telling me you got dry needling done, and you know, like that weird pressure. It's not like pain, but it's like a weird pressure from dry needling. This is like that, except pain.
Right.
Like it's both the pain and the. It was horrible. Like
I've had some friends that have got
back of my leg.
staph in their leg where they've like a small golf ball size hole in their leg, and they literally had a packet full of that kind of gauze covered.
I don't like how you say
medicine.
small golf ball is a big hole for the back of the leg.
A golf ball, but it's like smaller than a golf ball, like a large marble.
Any hole in the back of the leg, in my opinion, is too big.
The worst I've ever seen is Kevin Randleman. See if you could find Kevin Randleman staph. He had open holes where you could see his muscle structure under his armpit. It was horrific.
Oh my gosh.
He never really recovered. He wound up dying young.
He died?
He died young.
From that?
Who knows what he died from, but look at the hole.
I think I still have it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's his muscle tissue. That's Kevin Randleman.
What body part is that?
That's his underarm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's how bad it was.
That looks like he got shot.
He does. Yeah, he was rotting away. And I don't know if he didn't treat it quick enough, or I don't know if it was just really aggressive, but it's a real common thing in gyms.
And once you get it, it stays with you. Like it stays in your bloodstream. Like I have an essential oil diffuser on my desk, and I put thieves in it every day, and I just diffuse essential oils
in the air
while I'm working into the air. Yeah, it's like a nebulizing essential oil diffuser. And I just to play it safe, right? I just want to be breathing that in during the day, just in case.
Fuck.
But that's the other thing is I stand in front of this light, this infrared light, and
What's this dick light again?
It's a dick light. Yeah,
What's it called?
It's called a Juve. And so they've done these studies on testicular and sperm production, and they've found that there's a wavelength that's like 600 to 800 nanometers wavelength of light, that if you expose the testicles to that for 5 to 20 minutes a day, it's based on this concept of photobiomodulation. So I originally got into this whole photobiomodulation thing when this company, because I blog and people just send me these weird things to my doorstep to try. And they sent me this like nasal probe that you put up your nose, and it's got like a helmet on it. You could look it up, Jamie, if you want. It's called a VIELIGHT. And it produces this light that supposedly activates a part of your mitochondria. So you have like your electron transport chain in your mitochondria, and there's a part of that called the cytochrome C oxidase. And it apparently activates more activity in the cytochrome C oxidase. You produce more ATP, in this case in neural tissue, because you have it on your head. And they were using this in dementia and in Alzheimer's patients, but it turns out it's almost like a nootropic for your head. Yes, that's me at my desk.
Whoa.
Back when I was a young Chinese woman working at my desk.
Up your nose, on your head.
I like how that guy's just like looking pensively off.
This girl's reading a book.
She's reading a book.
She's reading Twilight.
Yeah, see, that's what I originally did. They sent me just the nose one, and I felt shorted because they had like the full head, so I asked them for the full head one.
This is so fucking weird.
I know, and you can feel it like pulsing. And what's it was, I think it was NPR. It was either Radiolab or what's the other science one? I think it might be Radiolab. They did a study on that, or a story on like this 10 to 40 hertz frequency.
9-volt
like
Nirvana. Yeah, we talked about it.
That's TDCS.
Oh, that's right. That's
transdermal
stimulation.
I have one of those too. The transdirect cranial stimulation. That Halo device that you wear before a workout.
Yeah.
You use that thing?
No.
Yeah,
well, let's one at a time.
We'll
get to the Halo
one at a time. So this photobiomodulation. I'm putting this thing, the probe in my ear, and the thing, and you're not even supposed to use it too much because it produces so much ATP that if you amp up cellular activity in neural tissue too much, you produce too many reactive oxygen species. Like that's a byproduct of cellular metabolism. It's just like if you eat too much, you produce a lot of byproduct of making energy, and that's why it's one of the reasons why fasting is good for you. Like it cleans up the system, and you don't make as many free radicals. The same reason like ketosis is good for you, right? You're not burning as much glucose. You don't produce as many free radicals. Same concept with this. You don't want to use it all the time because you get too much activity. You produce too many free radicals or too many reactive oxygen species. But every other day, use it.
So new year, new dick. How often did you use it?
Well, this is for my head. This was like a couple years ago.
But it's the same thing?
This is a couple years, and it was like a cup of coffee for my brain. Like every time I'd wake up and I put this thing on while I'm working at my desk. So then this company that makes these lights that are very similar activate cytochrome C oxidase, activates release of nitric oxide, but if you do it on your testicles, specifically the cell that it works on is the Leydig cells in the testes, which are responsible for producing testosterone. So you're basically stimulating the Leydig cells in the testes the same way that you'd stimulate like neural tissue using this one for your head. So I'd had success with the thing for my head. So I tried this one for the balls and the dick, and what I did was I would just jack my pants down for 5 to 20 minutes a day while I'm sitting there, I'm diffusing my essential oils, and I got the thing on my head, and it works. Like you actually get more blood flow. I mean, I didn't do a control study, just pulling my pants down and standing there for 5 to 20 minutes without the light on. I should do that at some point, because maybe it's just like the whole, it's like supposedly going combat style is supposed to be good for your dick too.
Just going combat style. So there's you. With your
that's me.
Balls out.
Yeah, I'm standing on my wobble board. I got my ball light, and that's actually not my office. I was at one of my friend's houses because he had one. And anyways, and I'm not naked, but normally I would be nude. And and
you just nuke your balls.
And you just basically nuke your balls. Yeah.
And what was the effect?
It's like a warm teddy bear. Increased vascularity, better size, better orgasms. I mean, like all this stuff seemed to have a.
So all this stuff seems to make your dick bigger and work better.
It had some kind of an effect. Yeah. So PRP injections, acoustic sound wave therapy, stem cells, the infrared light, the gas station dick pills, and that's the one I would not repeat. And then they had me do some Ayurvedic stuff, like the no ejaculation thing. Which is horrible, like where you have sex but you pull out. Yeah, and they had me do like the revert, like the. It's a book. It's called the Multi-Orgasmic Men. So I read that and learned how to pull back, like not actually orgasm.
Right.
And you pull it inside, and then you finish up, and you're just pissed off the rest of the day.
Yeah,
and you can't sleep at night because you're just all wet. So you could see how it would work, but for me, it's like I got kids, and my wife and I sneak away to get it on. Like I want it on. I want the full meal deal. So I didn't like that the no ejaculation reverse orgasm thing. But
what's it supposed to do? Like when you internalize the orgasm, when you keep it inside.
So this is all based on Chinese medicine principles. Like I think it's called your Jin or your Jing or something like that. But you have this energy. Your qi, your prana, your chakra, your life force, and apparently orgasming is and coming, like ejaculating, is supposedly one of the ways that you give some of that life force away. Like you release some of your vitality, and by having sex but then not coming, you're actually creating that same hormonal response of oxytocin and testosterone and all these things that we release when we're having sex or when we ejaculate, but without actually giving up that vitality, that life force. There was even I found tables where based on your age, there's a certain frequency with which you're supposed to ejaculate. Like the younger you are, it's every 2 days, every 3 days, and the older you get, it gets to a certain point where you're 70 years old. And it's every month or something like that. And so it's kind of interesting. But again, I don't like that. I want to finish.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a preconceived prejudice that you have, though. I wonder if you just went into it completely objectively, if it would have some sort of a benefit.
Or maybe you just get mineral depleted and you lose all your zinc and everything else you need to make sperm, and you start to cramp up. I don't know. To me, you'd have to be ejaculating a lot, I think.
So when you were doing all these different things, how much of a time, how much of a buffer did you give yourself in between each thing? So
it was not a well-controlled experiment at all. It was 3 months of just hey, do that. Hey, why don't we try this? Hey, the article's coming out soon. We should toss this in there too.
So they probably compounded.
It was not a well-controlled experiment, and I did a lot over 3 months. It would have been a lot better to just try one thing at a time. But I
would be so nervous.
But I am well hung and very vascular now from the whole experiment. So there's that.
Wow.
So yeah, it's called New Year. So New Year, New Dick.
And it really did make your dick bigger. So do you think there's any hope out there? Asking for a friend, guys who have micro dicks.
What's a micro dick?
Guys who have really small penises.
I would imagine there's hope. I'm sure they could be great politicians or be very, very influential. And so there's got to be some kind of trade-off, right?
Ferrari
it's
salesman.
if you have sickle cell anemia, apparently it protects you from malaria. So maybe if you have a small dick, it protects you from some kind of horrible accident later on in life.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I just wonder, if there's a way to fix that in people, if maybe this is the way. Because I've always felt like that's got to be one of the saddest things.
Again, Like, you never know. There could be a bunch of 90-year-old men walking around with dick cancer 60 years from now who, you know, heard this and all went and got injected. So I will not attest to the safety of it, but I can attest to the efficacy of it. So yeah, maybe some of those things would work for all those people walking around there, all of your listeners with small dicks. Just gave them salvation.
There's hope, fellas.
There's hope. So yeah, that's
me, though, is that like you're saying it still works. Like how long ago did you do this experiment?
Oh, I mean, like the magazine's still on the shelves. Like, it just came out.
Okay, so how long?
This was like
several months ago, though, right?
starting. I got the stem cells extracted in August.
Okay.
Of 2017. So this is
like
the end of January.
You got them shot into
8 weeks later, I got those shot into the dick.
So
and
we're
then
only dealing with a couple
6 months later, after they'd really grown a lot of these mesenchymal stem cells, I got them injected into my bloodstream and into like that injury that I'm fighting in my back right now. And I'd done some other things before that for the back and for tissue, like peptides, like this the BPC 157
that we were just talking about before the show.
Yeah, which is really interesting stuff. I mean, it's not intended for human consumption, but it's also not banned by WADA. I mean, it's legal to use, and it's a peptide. It's called body protection compound, BPC 157, and the 157 refers to like the sequence of amino acids that makes up the actual compound. But you can buy it and reconstitute it, and then if you inject it into an area, and it doesn't even have to be like a painful intramuscular injection, it can be like a subcutaneous injection. BPC supposedly stimulates angiogenesis. And it's a natural compound. You find it in the human gut. So they took this same thing that helps to heal the human gut, which is why if you were to consume this in drinking water, it supposedly, and this is in rodent models, it apparently works to like heal up an inflamed gut, you know, colitis, IBD, IBS, stuff like that. But you can inject it into a joint or subcutaneously into an area around a joint, and it supposedly stimulates the I feel like this is a repetitive phrase on this show, the growth of new blood vessels. So angiogenesis. And then there's another one called TB500 that they use in racehorses, thymosin beta. That one is banned by WADA. But similar principle, except that one acts on the actin and myosin fibers and actually causes regeneration of those. So you could do both, and you get angiogenesis and then also fiber regrowth. And that's a strategy that would be like pennies on the dollar compared to stem cells. And also, you know, a far less intensive procedure in terms of like collecting your stem cells.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's the fat for the stem cells, and from what I understand, if you're going after the anti-aging effect, like the bone is better, like the marrow, like a bone marrow. So I had my bone marrow extracted at this place called Forever Labs in Berkeley, California. And they store that, and then what I can do is I can just inject the 35-year-old me into my body every year or every 5 years or whenever I want to put that back in. So I've got bone marrow and fat marrow stored.
Let me stop you there real quick. So they take the bone marrow, and how do they have enough to just keep going? Do they somehow or another replicate it?
I don't know the protocol that used to grow the stem. Like, I know the fat one, they use like a collagenase procedure that enzymatically breaks down the collagen from the fat and somehow concentrates the stem cells, and you can actually grow them. Like, you can actually multiply them. I'm assuming it's something similar for bone. And the bone would be more for like longevity and anti-aging, and then the fat would be more for joints.
I know a lot of people who got the bone marrow done for injuries.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be very painful. Was it painful for you when they extracted the bone?
Not compared to the dick injections. No, it's all relative. But I've been obstacle course racing, and I was triathlete before that and did bodybuilding. So I've always done all this, you know, masochistic shit. So I think my pain tolerance is high.
No, I'm sure.
The bone marrow didn't hurt that much. No, it was like they numb it, they go in. The dick one was weird. There was like that weird pressure, a little bit of pain. I would say that the iodine packing into the staph infection we were talking about, that was up there.
Well, Daniel Cormier, UFC light heavyweight champion, had it done with the bone marrow, and he was telling me it was painful as hell. And he's about as tough a human being as they get.
You mean getting it injected or getting it
just
taken
getting it
out?
Extracted.
I mean, it's a big needle.
He was limping around, he said, for a while.
When I did the stem cell injections, that was cool because they used digital thermography. So you can, it's like an ultrasound. It's like what you would use to look at a baby.
Yeah.
But you can see the tissue. You can see the areas where there's swelling, or there's like a black area where the tissue is torn up, or where there's edema or inflammation. And you can, and he showed me the video after he did all the injections. You can see the needle like going into the. You can micro target exactly where you want to put the cells.
Yeah, I've done
it. So it's
it.
a very cool procedure.
I've done it and
did
watched
they
that.
use
It's pretty
that
cool.
the thermography?
Yeah.
It's a cool procedure.
Have you ever done regenikine?